What's up, everyone? What's going on, guys? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. For now, it's going to be me, and I will have a special guest hop on here in a second. Someone that really doesn't hop on too often. What's up, Sean? Both Sean's in the house. What's going on, guys? KJ and Joseph will be hopping on here shortly. And Carolyn or Myron, or maybe both, might hop on here in a little bit too. There we go. Now we got KJ and Joseph.
Oh
What's
my
up,
We're
guys?
struggling. We're trying. You're frozen on our end. I don't know if you can hear us.
We can hear you. You guys are a little. It looks a little grainy, but I think it's because of the signal that you guys are using your phones.
Yeah,
So-
we're using our hotspot today, guys. We haven't had internet for about 10 hours now, and we're trying to make it happen for you guys. This is commitment.
I know. We're trying to make it happen. I think we're
Awesome.
gonna have to go on your phone. Everything's frozen.
Lots of people here tonight. What's going on, everyone? Angie says, "Long time no see." I know, right? We just saw each other. What's up, Al? Look at who we got in the house. We got Jabs in the house. We got done underwriting a deal with Jabs and their team. It's a smoking hot deal, guys, so stay tuned on that one. Ryan, what's going on, brother? Joel, constantly showing up. Love it. What's up, Robert from Minneapolis? Tiffany, we're going to make it up there one day, watch, and we'll get that Cracker Barrel. What's up, Billy? Awesome. There's a bunch of other people hopping on. I'll highlight a few people here and there as we get going. But this is a Q&A tonight, guys. This is a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions in regards to multifamily, now's your chance. I think Sean had hopped on earlier. Sean, this is your opportunity, brother. Any questions, guys? Let us know. I'll just kind of chat about what we've been doing this weekend and this week, because we work this weekend, guys. We work almost every day. Even on the weekends, we're working. Our underwriters don't take a break either. Joseph and Ione, they underwrite every day, guys. I mean, this is what it takes to get a deal. If you haven't done a deal, it takes work. It takes a lot of work. For us specifically, guys, I'll just kind of touch up on our journey. I know you guys, some of you guys have been following us for a while, but for those who don't know us, my name is Oscar Jimenez. Then my partner and girlfriend, Ione, obviously we're a couple. We're part of the team here, but I myself am a visionary. If you guys know Rocky Fuel, I'm a visionary. My girlfriend is an integrator, so she likes to do a bunch of the numbers behind the scenes type of thing. And then KJ and Joseph, I don't know if you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick, or if the internet is good enough over there, but you're free to.
I know you've been frozen this entire time.
Yeah, we can't see you moving. We just hear you.
Can you see
lovely.
us?
Yeah, we can see you guys. I'm even looking on the YouTube channel. We're both moving.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, I guess
As long as y'all can see us, then I guess that's what matters, right?
I'm KJ. I do a lot of the sourcing of the deals, talking to brokers, on social media. Yeah, mainly just that. And I'm starting to become an underwriter slowly, slowly but surely. It's taken me 8 months, but I'm getting the napkin underwriting down, so that way I can bring more value to our underwriters and make it easier on them and take a load off of them. Because if I'm able to like sift through the deals first to determine if they're deals and kind of get more information for them, then it helps them out a lot more and saves a lot of time. So I'm trying to be more valuable to them as well. And then Joseph.
And I'm Joseph. I work closely with Ione as well, doing the underwriting and heavily on the asset management. We kind of do a little bit of everything. Earlier today, I was talking to brokers. I was on the phone with a broker doing some negotiating on the phone, and we're all jacks of all trades. We just have specific roles. That way, we know who's responsible for what when it comes to it. When it's time for the axe to fall, right? Who's it chopping? But yeah, this is about half the team here. We are, for those of y'all that don't know, we are JBM Legacy, also coined the $1 Million Upside team by you guys. And we love the name, and we just kind of started rocking with it. We appreciate it, definitely. And we're happy to be here, and we're excited to answer you guys' questions.
What if they didn't hear us the whole time?
I think we lost them.
No, we heard you guys. Sorry, I just got a quick phone call.
I'm like, I can't tell.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on, man. You're still frozen from the moment that we signed in. That's what you look like.
Yeah, cool. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for that intro, Joseph. Earlier today, guys, Joseph had mentioned we had a broker call. That was amazing. I had another broker call earlier today with Jada. I think she's in the house right now. That one was an amazing phone call. We got a lead that was really promising from that call. And so lots of good stuff, guys. Even though we today just seemed like a busy day, guys. It just seemed like so busy, like back-to-back meetings. And man, oh man, am I pumped, because all the things that we talked about, guys, that was amazing. Every meeting we had, every broker call we had, man, I'm pumped. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pumped.
I know one's coming. A deal is coming for sure.
All right. So I may or may not have Ione hop in. Still trying to get her to get on here. For you underwriters, you might be able to pick her brain, but we'll see. We'll start with the first question, guys. Again, this is a multifamily Q A. So if you have questions, start putting them in the chat. We'll try to get to as many as possible. Our goal is to try to get to everything, but if we can't, then just leave us a message towards the end if we can't make it to your question, and either put it in our Facebook group or individually message us on IG. Our handles are right in front. You can see my handle there, and then Joseph's handle for IG. So feel free to reach out to us there. Okay, so Joel's got the first question. How does pitching creative go with brokers and multifamily? I was hearing they blacklist, especially on Class A, since they believe we don't have cash. So great question, Joel. Pitching creative and multifamily is not like uncommon. I mean, we were just on a phone call, Joel, Joseph and I, and KJ with a broker who we told them that if we can't do this deal the conventional or the traditional method, we are going to have to get creative with this deal. And the very first thing he said was, I agree. He said, we need to have a conversation with the debt team and see how we can structure this creatively. And that's how the conversation went. So I think, Joel, what's happening with some of these things that you're hearing might just be the way you approach the conversation, right? Because if you don't have that confidence going in, then the brokers are gonna just sniff it out immediately, and they're not going to entertain it, just going to shut it down and move on to the next one. It's also the relationship that you build with the brokers themselves too. Again, it's all about relationships. And then when you're talking to them for the first time, you've got to establish credibility right off the jump. I don't even let them ask me anymore about who am I or what do we do? What are we looking for? I just straight up tell them, because I know the question is going to be asked no matter what. So just let them know, establish that credibility. And more importantly, the more reps you do, the more confidence you'll get. You'll be able to pitch creative easily. It's not that hard once you get the hang of it. And if they're not willing to entertain anything that's creative, then move on to the next one. All right, Sean Clark says, how do you leverage other real estate professionals, i.e. title agent, real estate attorney, VPs of real estate finance? So I'm assuming that by what you mean by leveraging other real estate professionals, are you saying like, how do I build those relationships? Because if you're going to be leveraging some of these people, I think your best bet would be to establish a relationship to figure out how you can leverage these people. For example, for us, if we're going to be talking to a title company, then I want to be able to establish a relationship so I can leverage them in whatever area I need. So, for example, for single family, I'll just give you this example. I've been able to contact my escrow officer or escrow agent because I'm in Texas, by the way, we use title companies. And I've been able to just talk to them and ask them, hey, how, can you run something by me without having a contract or anything like that? Like, just can we get this done? And they were able to help me without me being under contract because I have a good relationship with them. As a matter of fact, there was a deal that I was working with Joseph, and we had to do some undercover investigation, some private investigation type work, and they were able to help me figure that out. So I think, if you're going to be leveraging someone's, Sean, I think you need to establish a relationship with them first and foremost. Hope that helps. What's up, Carolyn? We got Carolyn in the house, guys. Let's get some fires in the chat. She's been out and she just got back from
What is up? How's everybody doing?
Look at this. Thank you, Angie. We are leaders in the next.
Thank you, Angie. Love Angie.
Awesome. Okay. Justin, what's up, Justin? Michelle, what's going on? Okay, let me see if we've got any more questions. Keep them coming, guys. This is a Q&A. All right, I want to read this real quick. Amanda says, since the last Q&A, I started reaching out to tons of brokers. Just been super straightforward about asking if any of their sellers are open to seller finance. No luck. How do y'all suggest pitching this?
Straight pitch it.
Exactly.
Just ask it straight out.
Exactly. And again, it also comes down to knowing what type of debt structure is needed for the deal. Like Joseph and I had a conversation today, the same one I was talking about, with a broker, and they were saying that they are open to doing seller finance, but that's because we asked from the beginning. And then second is, okay, well, how is it going to work? How do you structure that deal? And that comes down to the underwriting. But to your question, Amanda, you have to keep on pitching it. You have to keep asking. They are out there. Go ahead, Joseph. I see you raise your hand.
Yeah, on that deal that he's talking about, we asked them when we initially got it if there was a seller financing component, and they said no, there's no seller financing, no assumable loan. This is cash, traditional only, right? So we submitted our offer as a traditional, and it was a little short of where they wanted to be, but I still think that we were one of the highest. So now, all of a sudden, there's an additional seller financing component to it. So they told us no originally. Now there is, right? So it's just, you just keep pushing for it. Ask them multiple times.
That happened on the deal that we were talking about today too.
That's well.
Oh, it's the same one? Oh, because that one was fresh. There's multiple that we've done that on where we asked them for seller finance. So
amazing. Angie, thank you so much. Angie says, I want you to join one of our Zooms for the challenge. We have Zooms on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time and Friday. Awesome. Definitely reach out to us, Angie. We'd love to be part of that.
Definitely.
Yeah, let us know.
Also, Oscar, tell us when you want us to answer a question because we're lagging.
Yeah, I can't see the questions and I can't see you guys.
Here, I'll do a question that Al is asking for Joseph, okay? Al says, when underwriting a multifamily deal, do you guys calculate rental income on a T3 annualized and T12 for expenses or T12 income? Thank you.
Okay, I'm a little confused by the question, but typically I always want to see a T12 first.
He had to cut off in the middle, Carolyn.
Right at the juicy part. Let's give him a second, see if he'll come back on.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll go to the next question. Okay, Al. To be continued. All right. All right. Let's see. Sean says, what is a long time for a multifamily to be on the market? Great question, Sean. I'll give you an example. On one of the deals that we closed in Tennessee, that deal, Sean, was on the market for 8 months.
8 months.
8 months, Sean. And
Didn't it have things fall through on it too?
yeah, they had things fall through on it. And on top of that, Sean, the way we found this deal, for one, it was brought to us, but two, it was listed on market on LoopNet for 8 months, Sean. So why didn't anybody buy it? Pretty simple. In our view, it's pretty simple because we come from sub 2 and we understand creative finance. But those who don't understand creative finance didn't know how to solve the seller's issue. It's almost exactly the same when you're doing single family. You have to find the pain and motivation, and then the rest is history. And on top of that, this deal did not work as a traditional or conventional financing. It did not underwrite, and that's why a lot of people passed on this deal because they didn't know how to structure it creatively or seller finance.
Isn't that amazing? And then the seller, how many options does the seller give us?
In total, it was 4 options.
The seller gave us 4 different seller financing options, guys. Like, think about that. Like, you're never going to hear a single family seller say, here are the seller finance options, pick.
Great point, Carolyn. Yeah, I put it in that perspective. The multifamily sellers understand some sort of creative finance. They're savvy, guys. Don't sit there and think that they don't understand seller finance. The ones that may not understand it so much, they do to a certain degree, but those are brokers. But the sellers typically understand what seller finance is or a form of creative finance. So don't be afraid to ask because it's more common than you think.
For sure.
All right, Sean. Sean coming in with the questions tonight, Carolyn.
Wow, he's got him cooking. Who is the avatar of someone who should get into multifamily? Ooh. I think it has multiple, like there's multiple avatars in a multifamily world. There's like so many. This should probably be a Zoom all on its own, actually. This is probably a really great topic. Avatars of someone who should get, there's an avatar of someone who wants to invest passively as an LP. There's an avatar of someone who maybe wants to run the asset management on a property, who wants to get like in that GP spot. Oh my gosh. What were you going to say, Oscar?
There's so many, Sean, that literally I would not recommend doing multifamily on your own. It is a team sport. You'll find every single which avatar you need for you and your team or partners or whatever you may be. They're out there. This is a team sport, guys. If you're doing this by yourself, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough. It didn't take Carolyn, myself, the team to figure that part out, that we needed to squat up, and we needed to squat up like immediately. Once we did that, like things started happening. Carolyn, she takes care of all the broker outreach and investor relations. That's her role as part of the team. And my role is the deal structure and capital raising alongside with Myron. He's the same role. And then KJ and Carolyn work together, and then Ione and Joseph work together on the underwriting and asset management. And that's just very generalized. Like we do so much more than that. But just to let you know, they're out there. Everything's out there.
For sure. Lots of good questions. I saw one from Rob Sema here. The Rob Sema, what do you do when there's a cash call? Ooh, you pull up. Shut up or whatever. Pull up with your money or get out of the deal, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, Rob. If there's a cash call, obviously you're going to be in communication. You should be in communication with all your partners. And if that has to come, then you have to pull up. Great question. All right, Ryan says, have you pitched JVing with a current owner to keep their non-assumable debt in place under their name and seller finance the rest? Gotcha. Okay. Let me add Joseph on here. 1 second. All right.
Yes.
You see me, Joseph? You good? Okay.
We made it.
Awesome. Let me read that question again for those people out there. Ryan says, Have you pitched JVing with a current owner to keep their non-assumable debt in place under their name and seller finance the rest? Yes. My very first deal actually was that type of pitch. Didn't go through, Ryan, but that was the very first one I did. And the way we were going to structure that deal was Morby method. And the concern for their seller, Ryan, was that he did not want to be on a second position lien. So how do you get around that? Well, you partner up with the seller. That way they still have security and some sort of collateral against the property. That one was Morby method. Can you do that to keep their non-assumable debt in place? Of course you can. But if you're going to be JVing with them, then you know the seller finance part will be structured just a little bit differently. You just take out their returns from the property, whatever that may be. But yes, it's possible, Ryan. You can definitely do that. Good question. What do you? Okay, Sean. I'm not completely sure what you mean by this, but Sean says, "What do you do with $1 million upsides? You make money."
That's our money. That's our value add.
Okay.
We give it to our investors. We pay them off.
We take it and go put it in another bigger property. That's what we do with it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Sorry if I butcher your name, Hulagu. What is the buy box we're looking for?
You mean us as a team, or do you need help? Do you need help clarifying your buy box? Is that what you mean?
So specifically for us, what we're looking for is 100+ units. Class A, B, or C. If it's going to be a C, then it's going to be a light value add opportunity. We are not taking heavy lift projects. We are also not doing development projects. So that in Texas primarily, all major markets, so Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, San Antonio. And if we're doing anything outside of Texas, like the one we did in Tennessee, then it's got to be, someone's got to be there, boots on the ground for us to do that deal.
Yep.
Cool.
Also on Facebook, in our Facebook group, I have it posted, our buy box, in like detail. If you want to check that out too, you can search buy box in our Facebook group, and it's there for you.
Absolutely.
Is it on the featured tab too, or have we need to do that still?
I think I need to add it on there.
Yeah, I think right now it's just a post.
Well, should be easy to find.
Sean, man, it feels like you've been waiting to ask these questions since like 2 years ago, bro.
He's been writing them down.
Sean says, what are end strategies for multifamily? Is it getting that cash flow selling? I'm assuming you mean exit strategies. And I'm assuming you mean, is it cash flowing or is it a cash flowing asset is what I'm getting.
I think he means, is it getting the cash flow or selling? I think there's an or supposed to be in there.
Okay. Well, this is all you, bro. You want to answer his question?
Oh, yeah, sure. So in strategies, you have your traditional, just buy and hold, right? If it's already nice. You could also do your fix and hold. So kind of like a BRRRR strategy on multifamily. You go in, do your value add, and then refinance it at a later date, pull out that cash, and then go dump in another property and keep holding it. You could do kind of the fix and flip model. It's just like single family, right? It's all the same things, just bigger numbers, bigger properties. For us, what we like to do, it really depends on the asset. We'll put it this way. If the property is good enough, sexy enough, right? If it's got legs, if I could take a picture of this property and put it in my wallet and show it off, or just take a picture and want to show it off, then that's a property that we want to hold long term, right? 10+ years. If it's more of a value add, it's not quite as aesthetically pleasing, then that's something I might want to get in and out as quick as possible. And it really just comes down to the numbers, right? When you're doing the underwriting, you're kind of just guessing and checking, and whatever makes the most sense numbers wise, both on the returns and the exit strategy, meaning are the cash on cash, the returns for the investors, they need to hit a certain point. Depending on the asset, we'll say at least Class C is a 7% or more is what I kind of want to see. And I keep playing around with it until I get that cash on cash at 7% or more. And then I figure out, okay, when can I refinance this property, or when do I have to refinance this property? And really just boils down to like, what does the deal look like? What are the terms on the deal? Like, for example, the one we just did in Tennessee, the term is a seller finance deal, but the seller wants to be out of the property. He wants nothing to do with it after 5 years. So there's a 5-year balloon on it. So for us, we know we either have to refinance or sell at year 5 or before. So we based our strategy knowing that that had to happen. So we, what's the word I'm looking for? We stress test it to make sure our exit strategy was foolproof no matter what happened. That if it was a refinance, we were okay. If it was a sell, we were okay. If we had to refinance or sell earlier, could we do that? And when can we do that, right? So these are all different things that you're checking for. And I hope that answered the question. So yes, cash flow is great. Yes, getting the upside when you sell is even better too. And then, you know, whatever else you can make happen along the way, you know, it's just a bonus. But those are the two things that we look for: the returns for the investors, and can we exit comfortably?
Awesome. All right, Sean, I see you with another question. What is a debt broker? That's another question for Joseph.
A debt broker is exactly what it sounds like. It's someone that brokers debt to different people. So a broker, what a broker is essentially a middleman, right? And that's in every aspect. Anytime there's a broker, whether it's like a pawn shop or in real estate, you have your brokers, or a debt broker or mortgage broker is another way to say that. Debt broker and mortgage broker is the same thing. All that means is it's someone that's brokering debt for another person. So for us, we have a debt broker or mortgage broker, and what they do is they have connections to a bunch of different lenders. They have a database. And so we go to the debt broker, the mortgage broker, we go to them and say, hey, this is the deal we have, and we're trying to get these parameters or something similar, and what kind of debt would fit in those options. He spits it out to his database, and he gets hundreds of different lenders that are essentially bidding on the debt, and he gets the quotes for that specific parameters. And that's what a debt broker is. Maybe not exactly like that guy, but they are someone that gets debt for other people. They do loan quotes for other lenders. Yeah, exactly. What does a broker do, right? They go and find multifamily properties. They go and find properties for you to look at. It's exactly what a debt or loan broker or mortgage broker. It's all interchangeable words, but that's exactly what they're doing.
Perfect. Julie, great question. Julie says or asks, can you talk about the bridge loans coming due? Explain that. So this is a great question, Julie, because this is what we're seeing in the market right now. And it's going to be even, in my opinion, the opportunities are going to come here soon as well. A lot of them. And what she means is that a bridge loan is a short-term loan, kind of like hard money in the single family space. It's typically anywhere from 2 to 3 years type of loan. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll take that type of loan because it's interest only, and they'll use it for projects on a property to renovate it or bring it back up to the market standards or whatever. And what happened was, Julie, maybe a year or two ago, when the market was great and the interest rates were super low, some of these people went out and got those short-term loans or bridge loans on those properties, expecting to flip them real quick and then sell them off and get that money, that upside. But what happened with the market shifting and the interest rates rising high as they are now, a lot of those loans are coming due very soon. So they're going to expire, but they're expiring in this market now. So to go and refinance that loan, you're not going to be making any money. Or even if you sell, you might be having to compromise or lose that money because the market rates have adjusted. So they're coming due. Yes, they are. And that's an opportunity for all of us here, especially if you're joining on this new elephant challenge, right? Or getting into multifamily. These loans are coming due. So people are going to be very, very motivated to sell. And a lot of these sellers are going to be motivated, and they're probably going to lose money, but they have to sell because that loan is coming due. If not, then they're screwed.
They're up the creek.
For lack of a better word.
Yeah,
screwed.
They're screwed.
All right, Sean, when should one syndicate versus getting a loan? So Sean, this is kind of like when you syndicate, you do go out and get a loan a lot of the times, whether it's a seller finance or a traditional loan. They work hand in hand. So what you'll do is, let's say you're going to go get a loan for, I don't know, let's just say whatever, you get a loan, right? And they require 20 to 30% down for the down payment. Well, if it's a multi-million-dollar deal and you need 20 to 30,000 or 20 to 30% down, you need to raise that capital in order for you to make that down payment. So what do you do in that case? Would it make sense for you to raise the capital as a JV model, or would it be better for you to go and syndicate, meaning you're going to go and pull other investors' money and give them a return on it, but use that for the down payment and the CapEx or the closing costs, all that stuff. You're going to go syndicate and pull that money. But some of that's going to be financed through a lender, and some of it's going to be you bringing or raising money to the table, skin in the game. So it's a combination of both, Sean, typically. All right, Joel says.
What's all the scary parts?
Yeah. Joel says, debt structure is where I've been stuck at a bit. Would love to hear more how you guys do it on small and bigger. Okay, so you're talking about smaller or bigger deals, I guess is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So debt structure, again, it really comes back to what your underwriting says, Joel. If you have to go and structure debt using traditional financing, like go out to a lender, then you have to go and underwrite that, right? So will it make sense for you to go get a new loan or new debt on the property with the current interest rates as high as they are? Will it still cash flow? What does a raise look like for you, particularly on that deal? And is the cash on cash return, attractive for some of your investors, right? You all that goes into your underwriting to determine what your ideal debt structure would be. For us, particularly, our ideal debt structure, if Myron were here, he would be wearing a seller finance shirt right now, because that's our ideal debt structure, whether it's big or small. And for us, like, we love seller finance. So if there's a way we can do something creative and structure the deal, whether it's traditional or assumable, or a combination of assumable and seller finance, or all straight up seller finance, that all plays into your underwritings, Joel. So as soon as you figure out what makes sense for you, your investors, and what you're looking for, then that's how you structure your deal. That's how you structure your debt. Today, I talked to a broker, Joel, and I asked them, they told me they had a property, and they said, this would be ideal if we can just sell it. And the number one thing I asked them was, what does your debt structure look like? Do you have current debt on the property? And he said, no, it is free and clear. When I heard those words, Joel, what do you think I asked him? Exactly, seller finance. Are you open to doing seller finance? And guess what they said, Joel? They said, yes, we're open to seller financing. And Joseph's getting attacked by the dog over there.
No.
But they said, yes, we're open to seller finance. And I told them that's awesome, because In reality, if you would have told me no, I probably wouldn't be looking at the deal because it does not make sense for me to go get a loan right now with the current interest rates right now. So it's all about knowing just what you need to do, and it comes back to your underwriting, Joel. Sean says, what are the end strategies for the multifamily you have now look like? Keep it short and simple, Sean. It's an exit strategy to sell. We're not holding them long term. We're going to sell them. Jenny. Hello, I'm new. Hey, Jenny. Nice to have you here.
Nice to meet you, Jenny.
Says, I'm new. I want to learn how to do multifamily. How can I help you find your next deal? Perfect. You want to answer this one, Carolyn?
Yeah, you can call brokers. We're starting an elephant challenge this week, actually, that I think we're going to dip our toe. A lot of new people in multifamily are going to be starting to dip their toes into that world. And one of the best ways to do that is calling multifamily brokers off LoopNet, off Crexy. Well, we love Texas since we're all located here. I'm not sure where you might be located, Jenny, but I think we answered this before. Any deal that we look at out of state, we're going to want boots on the ground there. So, and it also has to have, as Joseph would say, legs on the deal. So, yes, definitely start by calling brokers and getting your reps in like that. You can use our buy box that KJ mentioned. That's on our Facebook group. Just start calling with that buy box in mind. We have a script, a general script that will definitely get you by calling brokers. And yeah, or I should also say, learn to napkin underwrite, because that's really beneficial, and bring us something that you might think might have those legs, Joseph says.
How would you describe legs for those who have not been watching since early days?
They're sexy.
Really long, shaven.
Muscular.
What?
Okay, they said muscular and defined. So when we're saying legs, we just mean like we want the deal to be juicy. Like I want to see something worth taking on this risk, right? Because every deal is a risk, no matter what deal it is. Every deal has some risk associated with it, right? So that's what we mean by legs. We want to see something that makes the deal pop.
Awesome.
just because you threw that out there, we had to explain it.
Sean says, who's forming a team and what do you need? Reach out to Sean. Sean, reach out to people in the chat too. Guys, this is all for you. We're doing this for you guys. So if you're not networking in the chat, you are losing massive value right now, guys. Network with each other in the chat. This is what it's all about. Your future partners could be in the chat. Your future deal could be in the chat, guys. So go ahead and start networking with each other.
There's like 70 people on this thing right now, so there better be some deals and teams going down. Love it. I had a follow-up question kind of down here, though, from Kalisha. What info do you need for napkin underwriting? Ooh, it's been a minute for me. Your NOI, your cap rate, your purchase price. Right? Are those the three big ones?
Yeah, that's it. And you also effective rent. Like what is the average rent in place right now?
The occupancy.
And yeah, you could use the occupancy, but I always just do it conservatively at 90% or 95% occupied. When she said cap rate, though, it's market cap rate. You want the market cap rate. So essentially, it's what is the market saying as far as what the cap rate is for that particular asset. And we won't go too far into it. If you go into the Facebook group in the featured tab, we have a whole Zoom on napkin underwriting with slides and everything. It's prepared and ready to go for you guys.
Yes, someone knows.
Let's go. Hey,
it
says loving the lights in the background, Oscar.
I know.
It's Christmas time.
You want to see ours, guys? Look at that.
And the baby.
Dang,
Ooh.
bro, you gotta show me up like that, bro.
Had to, bro.
Oh man, I'm a dud over here. I need some lights.
Hey, we'll
Awesome.
come get you set up.
I know.
Joel, how different is it when getting to the pain points in multifamily compared to single family? More straightforward, or any educating needed?
Joel, I feel like we need to pull you up on here because I think you know the answer to this. I feel like you need to share everything you know with the chat right now. Like, you got this, man. How different is it when getting to the pain points? Pretty straightforward, I would say.
In a nutshell, Joel, it's the same. It really is.
For sure.
Educating needed, if any, very little. Josh says, do you take one of their options or create your own? Are you referring to what Carolyn had said about earlier, them sending us options for seller finance?
I feel like that's a follow-up to that.
Okay, because if you are, we ended up doing a combination of the best option and making it work for both parties. Again, it's finding what the seller really wanted. And for them, the most important thing was a monthly payment and the balloon. Can you share the 4 different options the seller offered? Javanka, we probably will, but it'll be on a Zoom that we're going to do. So that way we can get more detailed in that Zoom. Look for that. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, join the Facebook group. We will be announcing everything there. It's the Multifamily $1 Million Upside Facebook group. Oh, cool. Look at Angie. We are closing a 23-unit seller finance deal in Denver, Colorado. Guys, put some fires in the chat.
Go. Let's go, Angie. Hell yeah.
Angie.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Okay. Sean says, does a 50% down payment ever make sense for single family? That depends, Sean. I mean, you've heard of, if you're not sub 2, then maybe you should check.
Seller finance.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm way off then. Does a 50% down payment make sense ever for seller finance? Again, it goes back to your underwriting, Sean. You really just have to underwrite to see if it makes sense for you. Do you cash flow? What do your returns look like? What does your cash on cash look like? If it does, and cool, then that's a deal. And if not, then you know that it wouldn't make sense. Let's see. I'm looking, guys. I'm looking. Kalisha says, completely new to multifamily space. Suggestions of where to start. There's so many options and info. KJ, do you want to answer this question?
You're muted.
Figuring this thing out over here. Oh, I'm like backwards. Okay, hold on. Okay. Let's see. New to multifamily, where do I start? I would start with, this is what I told someone the other day. Figure out what your goal is. You can't get to your end destination, right? Like, you can't get directions to go somewhere if you don't know where you're going. Like, you're just gonna drive everywhere all over the streets and waste gas and time, right? So you need to know, what is your end plan? What is your end goal? Do you want to wholesale? Do you want to own? And if you want to own, how many do you want to own? And by when do you want to own them? It's not something you're gonna like come up with in the next 5 minutes. You might have to sleep on it, or maybe it might take a week or two to really figure out like what you want to do. But it is important that you figure out what you want to do, because then from there you can reverse engineer it, and then you can figure out, okay, I want to own 20 units by the end of May. Okay, well, how am I going to get there? Okay, maybe I buy 2 deals that are 10 units, or maybe I just buy 1 deal that's a 20 unit. And then from there you can start connecting with people who are doing those kinds of deals. And then also
You know what you want, so then you can call brokers and say, this is what I want, and this is by when, and this is why. So then you sound more confident, because if you are just shooting in the dark and you don't have a plan and you don't have any goals, and then brokers are going to start asking you questions, and then you're going to be all over the place, and like they're going to sniff you out like like they're going to sense that uncertainty, right? Like you want to sound confident and firm in what you're doing, and I think the best way of doing that is coming up with a goal and figuring out what you want to do. Because another way to go about it is, like, if you don't want to own, you just want to wholesale deals to us or to other buyers, well, then you can say, I'm sourcing deals for a team that's performing. I'm sourcing deals for these people. This is their buy box. So then you don't have to feel so intimidated about, like, oh, what is my buy box? Be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm working for these buyers. These are their buy boxes, and this is what I need. And so then you're not lying to them. You're like, this is what I do. This is how I make my money. And like, I want to work with you to bring you these buyers and relationships that I've worked hard to build. So that's another way you can go about it. I hope that answered the question.
Amazing. Someone says, new here, what is cash call? So to sum it up for you, it's in, sometimes it's in your operating agreement when you form a partnership with your partners, and if needed, say you need to come up with additional money for your property that you're partnered up with, then the partners can call what's called a cash call, meaning that you guys would have to produce, the partners would have to produce money to bring to the table out of your pocket. Let's see. Sean, what's up, Sean? Is there a better way to pitch the broker that seller financing in multifamily is better than a triple net lease and more passive for the seller? So I think those are two different topics, and I'm not sure if Joseph is listening here, but the seller finance aspect is completely different from a triple net lease. Is that correct, Joseph?
Sorry, I was letting the dogs out. Is there a better way to pitch the broker instead of finance? Sorry, I have to reread this. Is there a better way to pitch the broker? Okay, so you're saying, I think the question is there a what's the best way to pitch seller financing versus that person doing a triple net lease? So yeah, I think it's two separate topics within this question. So triple net lease, for those of y'all that don't know, is a lease for commercial space where the tenant is responsible for everything, literally everything, the taxes, the insurance. They are basically the owners without owning it, right? But they are responsible for every piece of that space that they're renting out. So I don't know. I think it's kind of more of, do they want to sell the property or not? You know what I mean? It's like, if they're trying to sell the property, then they wouldn't want to be doing a triple net lease because they're still having to manage or run the tenancy, right? But if they are wanting to sell the property, then it's more so you're either pitching like a traditional cash, an assumable loan, or seller finance, or maybe a combination of the three. Maybe there's some other options out there too, but those are just the three that we primarily focus in. So it's really more of a question is, do they want to sell right now? Like, are they trying to sell? It's just like single family, right? When you're trying to qualify a lead, you try and make sure they're actually serious about selling before you start going deep into all this stuff. And the second part of your thing here says, like, is it more passive for the seller? Seller financing is definitely going to be more passive because they're not involved in doing anything. It's just like telling a single family landlord, well, they can either go rent out the property and do all the work themselves, or they can just collect the mailbox money and sell it to you on seller finance, right? It's the same conversation. I hope that answered it.
Okay. Next question. Joel says, what was the deal structure like for the third unit in Corpus Christi? It was a straight up seller finance, Joel. The best one you can get. Jabs, what's up, bro? Says, I have been reaching out to wholesalers and each one is asking for proof of funds. Is this typical? I'm asking because I showed proof of funds before, only to find out that the wholesaler was a flake. KJ, I see you. Go ahead,
I-
preach.
Oh, get ready for some preaching. I hope y'all got like 20
Jabs,
minutes.
you stirred up a whole can of worms, bro.
No. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, I don't remember the last time I sent a proof of funds, if that tells you anything. Oh my gosh, I've been becoming cutthroat with these wholesalers because I am being open to working with them, because some of them say, okay, I've been building relationships with brokers and that's what we teach you guys to go build relationships with brokers and bring us deals. But I really be vetting them, because one of them was like, I need you to sign an NDA. I was like, I don't sign NDAs with wholesalers, because let's say 6 months from now, this property's still on the market. I don't want any legal paperwork tied to that wholesaler, because I don't want to have to, for some reason, pay them when they did absolutely nothing. You know, I want to be tied to the listing broker or whoever is actually working the deal. Like, not that I want to cut them out of anything, but like, if 6 months later it comes back to my desk again, a different price, but I signed an NDA of some sort with that wholesaler way back when, like, that could get messy. So I do not do that, and I told them that, and they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna have you sign with a broker. So I get an email, and I look at this person's name, and I'm gonna look them up, and I do not think that person is a broker, and I was like, I'm not signing that. Like, people are shady, especially wholesalers. Not all of them, not hating on them, but like, especially in the multifamily space, I'm like, who? I feel like I feel like they think, okay, let me ask for LOI, let me ask for proof of funds, let me put 3% buyer's fee, and let me just send out financials that are from 2021. And so, because that happened today, I feel like they don't know what they're doing, and they see what other wholesalers are doing that don't know what they're doing, and they just copy and go along. So I try my best to educate and let them know, like, this is not how things are run. Like, you're not going to get 3%. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. Because I had one person try to tell me they were going to take my LOI and then go submit an LOI lower than what I was going to, so that way they could take 300K. And I was like, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to use my name and go submit a different LOI to get yourself paid. I was like, we will come up with a fee. Like, that's not okay. I think there's just a lot of education that needs to be that needs to be taught. So I'm trying my best to be stern, you know, like, hey, this is not how it's done, but I'm also trying to like educate them. So I went off on a tangent, but I don't send proof of funds. I mean, you can, but it's like, who are they proving it to? Who's asking? Because a lot of times the reason why they're asking is because they don't know. Like, imagine this, a wholesaler, right? Who's doing this? How many other people have they sent it to? How many other people sent them proof of funds? Like, who are they sending this information to as well? Like, you don't know. Like, if, like, you say you send a bank statement or something, I don't know where they're sending that. I don't know who they're sending that to. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I would be like, if you want, I can send it over to the broker. Like, who's the broker? I don't know. I just do a lot more vetting. Like, if I can't get on the phone with the broker and sign an NDA with the broker myself, then I don't talk to them, because chances are it's like, oh, my partner is. But then it's like, how many partners down is it? So, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but
All good. All good. It's hitting everybody. Jabs, he's loving the feedback, and a few people are saying the same thing.
Okay, I can't see the comments. Let me see.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for that, KJ. All right. Michael, have you guys or anyone else you know in multifamily use VAs? I guess you mean VAs like calling and stuff like that, virtual assistants. So, yeah, I think so. I think there's lists you can pull. That would be a Myron question, but I believe there's a list, some list that you can pull and just start having your VAs call them. Obviously, you're gonna have to train them because multifamily is different from single family. You know, the education part for the VAs will you'll have to spend some time training them. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think this is a continuation of the last question that Sean had asked. What does $1 million upside mean? I have seen how you guys add $1 million to a property, I think. How much of that $1 million goes into your pocket? Uh, uh, Short and straight, it's simple, Sean. It depends on your underwriting. Maybe Joseph, you can add a little bit, but it really just depends on your exit and your underwriting.
Yeah, that's basically it. So the upside is the added value to the property. So it's like, if, okay, I'm buying at 1 million. If I come in and raise the rents by $100 or whatever, there's the math. Go watch the napkin underwriting to get the math. But the upside is how much value you're adding to the property, how much more worth the property is by the time you sell it because of the things that you've added to it, like increasing the rents or adding pet fees or things like that. That's the upside. And $1 million just means it's $1 million or more. And then it says how much of that goes into your pockets. Well, it just depends. How much of it is actual profit, and then what is the structure splits? Like, for example, in the Tennessee deal, we're doing a 70-30, right? So 70% goes to the well, they're not. It's a JV, so it's not exact. We'll keep it simple. 70% goes to the LPs, which are your limited partners. They literally do nothing in the deal other than put money into the deal. They are the people you raise money from. They are your investors in the deal. Those are your LPs or limited partners. The other 30% goes to your GPs, your general partners. Those are people like us, the people that are running the deal and managing the people. They are the managers of the property. And it just depends on whatever structure you have. It could be an 80-20, a 70-30. We tried doing a 60-40. That was before we knew what we were really doing. And it's not impossible, but it's hard to find a deal that works and gives you good returns for your investors at that split. It's not impossible. It's just, again, it's about your investors and getting the returns.
Awesome. Larry, go take a nap.
Let's go.
Awesome. I want to shout out this comment by Jabs. By the way, guys, I'm about to do my first multifamily deal with JVM Legacy. 38 units, Houston. Let's go.
Let's go.
If I could put fires in the chat, I would.
Yeah. We're adding fires to the chat right now, guys. Adding fires.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
This is amazing. We are working with Jabs on doing that deal. And guys, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing this, guys, because we were once in your shoes where we didn't even know where to start. So it is our responsibility to help everyone who's trying to get in here and is committed and is taking action for us to help you guys get to the next level. So if you guys bring us a deal and you guys are taking all the action and you're learning and you're bringing value, then we will help you close your next deal or your first deal.
We just need to see that action. Action speaks volumes, guys. Go out there and take some action. Bring us problems.
Let me see. What else do we have? All right. Joel says, what are the types of deal structures and types of methods to buy? How long do each take, for example, JV, equity split, syndication, partnering, cash creative? Good question, Joel. The different types of structures depends on the deal you're underwriting. But for example, a JV and say something creative like seller finance are pretty, it can be done pretty quickly, because a lot of times when you do seller finance, and if it's a small deal, then there is no lender. So you just got to do your inspection period or your due diligence and close it quickly. If you're doing a syndication, or maybe even a larger whatever deal, then you have a lender involved and you have other people involved, so it'll take longer. It'll take a lot longer. And if it's cash, I think we all know the answer, that cash is king, and that can go quickly. Sean says, "Are you buying in Houston, Texas?" What is the answer, guys?
Hell yeah. That's where KJ and I live. We're in Conroe, so we're just outside of Houston. Absolutely, we're buying in Houston.
Procured Leverage Group says, percent on average are the debt broker's fees. So, like, what is a percent on average for the debt broker's fees? Is that what he's asking?
Eric charges a point to half a point. I mean, like a point to a point and a half, and he includes that in. So when he just make sure that when they do give you all of your loan quotes, right? Ask if their fee is included in it. Most of the time, it is. So for our guy, he includes, I think he's just 1 point, which is 1%. That's what point is. So his is already included in the loan quotes that we get. So it just shows us the loan quote, and his 1 point is already included in that.
Awesome. All right.
Hey, that's why we signed up too.
Yeah, us too. That's funny.
Mary asks, what qualifies someone to be a sponsor? You want to take that one, Joseph?
Yeah, it's simple. Your net worth. You got to have a net worth equivalent or greater than the loan that you're trying to secure. So if the loan
and experience,
what?
And experience.
And experience, yeah. They just want to see that you've done some kind of deals before. They're going to ask you, you know, what you've been involved in. The most important thing, though, is that you have the net worth to back it up. Let's say for whatever reason that you don't come through. If it's a non-recourse loan, they have the property against it. But if it's a recourse, they want to know that you have the net worth or the liquidity or whatever it is to be able to pay off that loan or somehow get it taken care of. So, experience and net worth.
Cool. Any other questions?
Sorry, you're going solo on the comment section tonight, man.
It's okay. I highlighted Myron's number one favorite comment, seller finance.
Yeah, we got him a birthday present. It says, "Ask me about seller finance" on the front. It's nice.
Kalisha asks, what are the main things you need as a newbie when underwriting? Oh, KJ, I think this is good for you. Like, when starting off.
I know, I'm in the newbie stage. You need, what are the main things you need? Okay, you need a T12. You need, well, really just T12. I don't look at the rent roll.
You need the rent roll.
Okay, well, you need all of them, but like for the beginning napkin underwriting, you really just need the NOI and the market cap rate. So the OM, the OM's going to give you a cap rate. That is not the market cap rate. They're probably giving you the asking cap rate, which means that's the cap rate that they are, that's the price, right? How do you say that?
Yeah, that's their asking.
That's what they're
cap
asking
rate.
for. Yeah, that's what they're asking for. They're obviously going to ask for as much as they can get, not necessarily what it's actually worth.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to make sure I explain that in a way that makes sense because
What is an OM?
Oh, an offering memorandum. So it's just a pretty like brochure that they put together about the property. So it's all going to be a lot of fluff. It's going to be a marketing sales tactic to get you to fall in love with the property. But there is good information on there. But what really matters is a T12. That's like looking into their diary and seeing all the real stuff that happens. So
And what's a T12?
a T12 is a trailing 12. So it's basically going to be like a P&L broken down for 12 months. Or a T6 is the last 6 months, or a T3 is the last 3 months. So you want to have a recent one, not one from 2021 when we're about to be in 2023. Just blows my mind.
What's on the T12 though?
You're gonna have income and expenses. See, I know this stuff. Okay.
No, I'm just helping you help them.
So-
and then what's the third thing?
The third thing on the
No. What's the third thing you need? You got a OM, you got a T12. What's that third thing you need?
rent roll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I already said that. So
Well, I'm just
rent roll. Oh, there's my finger. Rent roll, T12, OM. And then if you go to the feature tab in the Facebook group, I have underwriting formulas that you can use that I color coded and made all nice and pretty. And so you want to then use those formulas to figure out, is the asking price or is what they're asking reasonable? So you would take the NOI and divide it by the market cap rate, and it gives you the offer price, and you compare that to what they're asking.
Dang, she's gotten good, guys. She's gotten good. Let me throw this out there. I don't know, for those of y'all that have seen the KJ Analyzer, that's what we're calling it now. Ione made a quick little analyzer on Google Sheets or like an Excel form for her to use. And it's basically those napkin underwriting formulas that we've taught plugged into the analyzer. So you just punch in the numbers and it spits out the valuation for you guys. So we are actually considering releasing that as a product. Let us know in the comments what you guys would be willing to pay for something like that. We already know what we're going to charge, but I just want to hear what you guys think. So let us know. Let's go on to the next one.
Let's just say if you guys been watching us and you've seen and heard me, like it's been 8 months and I'm finally starting to underwrite a little bit. So if I can do it, you guys can do it.
Love it. All right. Julie asks, is Privy good for multifamily challenge? To be completely honest with you, Julie, we don't know. I don't know specifically because we don't use Privy. The way we source deals is direct to broker or direct to seller. And that's the only way we approach multifamily deals. Now, is there a way to do it in Privy? Maybe there is. I'm thinking there's going to be, especially since the Elephant Challenge is going to happen soon. But for us specifically, our focus is brokers and direct to seller. What else have we got here? I think we just answered that question, Kalisha. Tiffany asked, what is the average number brokers you all are calling in a day, and how many answer their phone or call back? That's you, KJ.
That's all you. Yeah.
I'm just double checking. So in the beginning, before I had my superstar broker, I was calling, me and Carolyn both were calling 30 brokers a day.
Each.
And a lot of times, each. A lot of times they don't answer, and the ones that do answer probably don't do what you want them to do, or I don't know. We had to go through a lot, a lot. And I even sent some emails, and actually it's funny because our superstar broker today, he told me, he's like, it's funny because how we met. He's like, do you remember? I was like, no. He's like, you sent me an email, and I was like, this is weird. He's like, normally I wouldn't have responded. He's like, but something in me told me to respond to you, and then now we have this relationship that is amazing. And so send emails. So I created a Google sheet. We just kept track. Me and Carolyn, we would go and hit a specific city and have a tab in that city in the Google Sheets, put their name, their info, their phone number, their email, and then we would keep track of like, okay, did they answer? Did we leave a voicemail? Like, what are they focused on? So that way, like, if they were to call back, we could remember, or that way we can go back and follow up again if we weren't able to get in touch with them. So we did that for like a month and a half every single day before finding some good brokers to actually work with.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I think you already know this, Tiffany. I think you've been following us for a while, but collectively, KJ and Carolyn have called over 600 brokers now till this day, probably even more than that. At the beginning, though, it was back to back phone calls. So you're going to have to make a lot of phone calls before you find the rock star brokers, but they're out there. Like I see McQueen Estates, which is Zach. He's one of the brokers we work with. He is a rock star broker, and his partner, Carrie, whom we've had in our Zooms before, and so we actually brought the brokers into our Zoom so you guys could ask them questions live. So those are the types of brokers you want in your team, because they're going to be going above and beyond where most brokers just send you the financials and that's it. That's all they do. Look at Joseph cuddling with the puppies. Sean asks, what are the 3 main things to look for in raising capital? Example, is a sponsor needed for this deal? Yeah, I mean, really, Sean, you're always, if you're the one in your team, or even if you have a team or you don't have a team, you should always be raising capital no matter what, every day, every single day, even if you don't have a deal. So number 1, always raise capital. Number 2, yes, if you're going to be doing a bigger deal and you need a sponsor, then yes, you're going to have to look for a sponsor, right? You're going to have to look for that person who has that net worth and experience if you're going to be doing a loan on the property. And then I don't know if there's anything else other than that. I mean, the only other thing that you need to be concerned about is if you're raising capital is the returns for those investors that you're raising capital from. What does that look like for them? Like, you want to be able to raise capital and give them a great return so it's attractive for them to invest in your deal. All right. Andrea says LoopNet, and where else? I missed the second one Carolyn said. Thank you. So it's loopnet.com and crackseed.com. Let's see. All right, Jennifer asks, I'm late to the live, but what are the roles in a team? So I guess when you're forming your team, right, you're going to be discussing that with your partners. But for us, in specifically in our group, there's 3 couples and total of 6 individuals, and everyone has a role. So Joseph's role is underwriting and asset management, and Ione does the same thing. They work together. So Ione and Joseph, underwriting and asset management, and then KJ and Carolyn work closely together with broker outreach and investor relationships. And then Myron and myself work very closely where we do deal structure and raising capital. Joel asks, what should typical inspection be based on a small and big? Again, it just depends on what type of debt structure you're doing. If you're doing something with a lender, it's going to be longer. So, your due diligence period is your inspection period. So that can be anywhere from 30 to 90 plus days on your due diligence. And your closing can be anywhere from 30 to 60 or more days for closing. And Jabs, can we napkin underwrite right now? Let's do that on a Zoom on Friday, bro. I think we can definitely bring people value to that. And we've also done this before. If you go to our Facebook group under the featured tab, there's all of our recorded Zooms where we go through napkin underwriting and a little bit more deeper in the underwriting. So you can definitely find that there.
Yeah, I think there's like 3 different Zooms on there just on napkin underwriting, maybe even 4.
What's up, Zach? Yo, someone is noticing. Thank you, my guy. All right. Trying to find the next question. I don't see anything at the moment. Where can I find more info on the elephant challenge? Great question, Jenny. I would reach out to, it's my first day on the job, so I don't know. But you might want to reach out to maybe Carolyn. She might know better. Or someone in the chat, please let Jenny know where she can get, or where she can find the elephant challenge. Let's see. Kalisha says, I want to start with a 75 unit next year. Let's go. All right. Billy, what's your opinion on hotel and motel conversions to multifamily? Pros and cons. Billy, I hate to say this, but we don't focus on this, so I don't really have an opinion other than at the moment we're strictly focused on just doing your value add or traditional multifamily deals. And the reason being, Billy, is that we are laser focused and we don't want to get shiny object syndrome. So for us, there's been opportunities where we can do where deals have come across our desk where it's Section 8 or student housing or some sort of government assisted living or whatever it may be, that we literally just focus and hone into what we're good at, and that's what we do. And specifically being because there's going to be a learning curve too. And like Section 8, let's take Section 8 for an example. That's all regulated through HUD, so it's government, and they're going to regulate the rents on how much you can increase the rent to. And for us, particularly, it doesn't meet our business model. We don't want to be limited to a specific number that we can raise the rents to. We want that $1 million and upside. So that's why we're focused on that. So at the moment, Billy, I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe someone in the chat can help you with that. But for us, we're sticking to what we want to do, and we got a goal, and that's 1,000 units by July of 2023. So we can't, go around and figure stuff out. We just got to do what we got to do. Sean says, why did you guys choose 1,000 units? You want to get to that one, KJ Joseph?
Go big or go home. If your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. And this scared me. I'm still scared, but shoot, I want to make it happen.
That's basically it, right? I mean, we just picked a number that scared us. It sounded good. I guess you could say our mentor he said he got 1,000 units in his first year. So we were like, okay, if you're our mentor, then we should be doing the same or better, right? So we just locked it in and stayed committed.
KJ, it's go big or go bigger.
Exactly.
You're right.
Awesome. All right.
And I apologize that we are not in the normal setting and that I'm laying on the couch. Blame everybody. Go and write a bad review on Tachus Internet. TACHUS. We're out. What time is it?
I don't know. It's been all day.
What time?
It's almost 9:30.
It's been 11 hours. They have had no internet.
Your finger's in the way.
Oh, sorry. 11 hours.
That was earlier when KJ was preaching.
Oh.
Oh, I love the comments. I just can't see them today.
Yeah, we can't see any of them. We can only see the most recent.
Oh, Olga, you're so sweet.
Oh, look at this one. Real Places is saying, I want to hear a role play with KJ and how she speaks to brokers and how they respond. a role play, or you want to hear a real conversation?
I
Yeah.
know. I told
Savage.
Yeah, I was about to say, y'all would be so surprised. Like, y'all hear, this is her being nice. She's cutthroat with these people. I'll be in the office and I hear her talking to some wholesaler or broker that doesn't know what they're doing. And I'm like, damn, I would not want to be on that end of the
I'm
phone
not
call.
that mean.
Nah, she
I'm
is, guys.
stern.
She is.
I hold my ground. I know my worth. It's different. Because, like,
Crazy.
imagine, like, I'm a billionaire, right? Future billionaire. No billionaire is going to put up with some petty stuff. They ain't got time for that. So, if I'm a billionaire, I ain't got time for that. So,
AJ.
well, it's funny because every time I have a good conversation, I was like, this is the time to go live. But it's like I wasn't expecting the conversation to go that way. And it's like I'm in the middle of a phone call. I was like, I need to figure that out, have the live ready to go just in case. Because, like, if I go call brokers, cold calling, it's not the same as, like, when I have, like, an in-depth conversation breaking down stuff with the brokers I already talked to. So I'll try and figure something out.
Cool. Keith, do you guys take an annual management fee? What do you mean by that? Because we don't manage any of our properties.
So I guess I could touch on it a little bit. We take an asset management fee that is paid out. We generally do anywhere from 1 to 3%, and it's paid out quarterly along with the distributions. So in addition to, let's say it's a 70-30, in addition to the 70-30 split, if there's preferred returns, the preferred return gets paid first, and that would be to the members if we do that structure. Then the asset management fee would get paid out. And then whatever is still remaining, then that gets split, whether it's 70-30, 80-20, whatever it is. So we put an asset management fee on our properties so that we make sure that we're getting paid something. And that's for our hard work of managing the managers.
Lots of fires in the chat.
Let's go. You know, we love the fires.
I'm just doing it, making mistakes on the way and reaching out to JBM for more help. Love it.
Let's go. And you know what? He's going to close that deal. I know it.
We're going to make sure of it.
Not sure what this question's about. Are you direct fees to assist in the deal?
Maybe, are you requiring fees to assist in a deal? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe like they're asking if we have like a consulting fee or something like that. That could be my guess. It really, if you have questions on a deal, like an actual deal, then we'll help you. But if you're just coming at us with like theoretical, you know, haven't actually had any action or done anything, you just have a bunch of questions, then yeah, we're going to start charging you for that because our time is valuable. But if you have a deal like on the table, like an actual deal, or you're stuck at a point in a deal, let us know. We'll help you out. Like it's no big deal. But if you want like our whole team to either buy it or take it over, then that's something that we would need to structure moving forward, and we would set upfront contract with you at that time before proceeding with anything.
Right. And again, if you guys have any questions, we've probably answered a lot of questions already in all the Zooms that we've done. So if you join the Facebook group, the Multifamily $1 Million Upside team, the Facebook group, then you can find everything there, all of our recorded stuff in the featured tab. And that might help some of you guys there.
Yeah. And for example, I think Oscar helped Jada with something earlier today. So yeah, we're definitely helping people. I mean, the same with Jabs and his team. We're helping them get that closed. So we definitely will help. Absolutely.
Also, tomorrow, 5 p.m., Joseph's going live. He's talking about property walkthroughs, what to look for. like what's a plan before and during the process, you know, like questions to think of. And you know, I won't go into too much detail. I'll let him cover it, but you guys should check it out tomorrow on YouTube. He's going
Yeah,
live.
definitely should
It'll
check
be
it out.
fun.
Jabs, if you're in here, you got to check out that one tomorrow because that's what you're going to be doing soon.
You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it.
Denise, would love to do a deal. Would love to do a deal with you guys. Going to be doing broker outreach. What is your buy box? It's in the multifamily group, Denise. I think you're part of it, but if not, join the multifamily group. It's in there. Just type search for buy box, and it'll come up.
And if you don't know what the multifamily group is, it's behind us, $1 Million Upside.
Or someone can put it in the chat for you too.
Yeah.
Pretty please.
With the cherry on top.
Real Places. What is it about a joint venture that leaves the SEC not pursuing it as a security? Disclaimer, Real Places. We are not attorneys. We are not CPAs or financial advisors. Go out and do your own due diligence and consult an attorney for this particular question. In short, a JV is typically a few people who just do the deal together versus when you're pulling other people's money for a syndication, then you are required. Again, I'm not an attorney, but you would then be pulling people's money together, and there's a bunch of legal stuff that is involved with that. So when you determine that, and that's what we did, we consulted an attorney for our deal in Tennessee, which is why we did a JV on it, because we made sure we got the CPA's advice and it through the attorney that we can do a JV. I would recommend for everyone here, especially if you're doing a larger deal, like for us, it doesn't matter if it's 30 units or 40 units or above, to go speak to an attorney. Do not try to do this legal stuff yourself. You should be putting it in your underwriting because you want to make sure that you are covered for everything. Don't be one of those people, unless you're an attorney yourself, don't be one of those people who tries to take it on yourself. Go get an attorney. Okay. Amanda, so you guys are buying cash too, or only seller finance / assumable? You want to answer that, Joseph?
Yeah, we are definitely buying cash. Absolutely. The reason that you keep hearing us talking about seller finance and assumable is one, because we just like creative deals. That's where we come from. That's our background. We love creative deals. And two is the way the market is right now. Cash is just not making sense because the sellers are still stuck in the 2020, 2021 prices where everything was inflated. And now with the rising interest rates, the cost of debt is much more expensive. So we were able to get much lower interest rates before, whereas now they're almost doubled, and it eats away the cash flow, and therefore it's eating away the returns that we could give our investors. So it all goes back to the returns for investors. We have to make sure that they are getting good returns so they keep coming back and investing with us. We're not going to look at a deal that's not going to give good returns for us or our investors. So therefore, that's why we're always talking about seller finance and assumable loans, because we're able to structure it differently. And it's usually, more often than not, a better scenario in that sense with the returns.
Awesome. Facebook user question: what is the ugly side of multifamily? Ooh, okay. So the ugly side, I wouldn't say necessarily there's an ugly side to it, but there are a lot of challenges that come with it. The one is the learning curve when you're new. The learning curve. So many people think that coming into multifamily, it's going to be done quickly and you're done. And second is you don't get rich quick off of this. If you're looking to get rich quick off of multifamily, you're in the wrong space already. You're going to be sorely disappointed. It's not a get rich quick type of thing. And the deals take a lot longer to close than a single family. And even though you might close on a bigger deal, especially if you're new, you might have to compromise with a few things. And what I mean by that is if you don't have any experience on doing multifamily at all, then you're going to have to leverage someone like a partner that does have experience and somehow get your foot in the door in that deal, if any. So the things that you have to keep in mind when you're new is how can you be part of a deal. As a matter of fact, if you're going to be doing this and you don't have any money and you're brand new like us, we didn't have any money starting off. So what was the thing that we could do to bring someone value is we need to go find the deal. Find the deal, negotiate it, underwrite it, do all the sweat equity, and bring it to someone who can take it down with us. On top of that, just because you bring someone a deal doesn't guarantee that you're going to be part of that deal. So what you need to do as a newbie is ask the question to whoever you're bringing the deal with and ask them, what will it take for me to be part of this deal? And that's if you want to be part of this deal, because I'm assuming everybody wants to own multifamily. Now, if you want to wholesale, that's a whole different thing. But if you're going to wholesale it, you're not going to be one of these wholesalers that KJ preaches about all the time. You're going to be heavily involved in the process. So for one is make sure that you're not coming in here with an expectation to get rich quick, because it's not going to work. It doesn't work that way. It's a long-term wealth building type of strategy that you're doing here. So on top of that, I would still find a way to produce active income while you're doing this. Unless you have a W-2 and you're doing this on part-time, then cool. But if you're not, then still, because we still wholesale. We wholesale single families. Matter of fact, I'm putting one under contract today, a single family house that I'm going to wholesale.
Yeah. And I've got 2 calls lined up tomorrow to close 2 sellers.
All right. Let's see. Mary asks, if you're new at this, do you need a sponsor that even if you're qualified financially? You need a sponsor even if you qualify financially.
I think it depends on your lender, right? Because that's really what it boils down to, especially if you're doing it traditionally. If you're doing this on seller finance, then you don't need any of that. If you can get the deal and you have the money to pay it, then you don't need anybody say so to get it. It's when you get a lender involved. When a lender is involved, they're going to want to see some kind of experience behind you. They're not going to want to just loan out tens of $millions to someone that has no experience about what they're doing at all, right? So if you have experience in the single family space, that's still technically experience. Your experience in real estate, you understand renting, maybe not specifically a large asset, but it's some kind of experience, so that could help, right? So it's all based on how, and this is something a lender told me. It's about how you convey the story. It really is. You can say, okay, say I have a property and I'm trying to get a loan for it, and I just say the NOI is 100,000 and it's only 40% occupied, right? Or I could say, well, the NOI is, I could say the same thing and then give a reason as to why. They just did a massive renovation to the property and they're currently in a lease up period. And it's only been half a month. It's been 2 weeks and they've already got 10 or 20 new tenants in place. Doesn't that sound a lot better than just saying the NOI is crap and it's half empty? Right? It's all about how you convey the story. And that's a lender that told me that.
Cool.
Also, Mary, a good way to learn is to, if you've got funds that you want to invest.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back to Joel. But yeah, I agree, KJ.
You can join one of our deals and be an LP.
And we would like it to be one of our deals, but it doesn't have to be our deal.
That's
right?
always one good way, though, to learn.
I would go out there and look at whose deals you can invest in. Obviously, do your due diligence, figure out if the returns make sense for you, and then see if they would allow you to have eyes and ears into the meetings that take place.
Yeah. Joel, do brokers take offense if we ask for distressed sellers? How would you go about asking for the seller who needs to sell? This is so would they take offense? I wouldn't necessarily word it that way, Joel, if I'm talking to a broker and I don't know them very well and be like, "Hey, do you know any distressed sellers?" Probably wouldn't approach it that way. I think what I would do is, and Cage is really good at this, is create a relationship, a really good relationship with your brokers so that they think of you first whenever there is a distressed or an opportunity coming. So they'll let you see it first before anybody. So I would say that would be the better thing is just go out and build those relationships with those brokers. So there is someone that is distressed, they'll send it to you first.
And I would even add this. I would not be focusing on trying to find distressed sellers. In that way, multifamily is different. You just want to find a property that you can you can structure in a way that makes sense, right? If you focus on just building the relationships, the deals are going to come, especially with what's about to happen on the market and what's going on currently. 90% of sellers are about to be distressed sellers. So I would focus more on building the relationships with brokers and just underwriting what they give you and then correcting and directing as they come in on what you need and what you're actually looking for based on what they're presenting to you.
I think majority of the deals, I don't know anything about the seller.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't even talk to the seller unless it's a seller finance deal. That's to be honest with you. We really don't. If the only time we do is if it's seller finance and we ask to have the seller on the phone because that's how we like to structure our seller finance deals. Other than that, we're just dealing with the broker. We don't even bother with the seller.
What's up, Jose? How's it going, bro?
Man, long time no see, Jose.
I know.
Love you, bro.
Are sellers / brokers offended if you ask if there's a bridge loan and details of it? No, Jose, no.
That's a good
No,
question.
no, no. They are not offended. You should be asking, what does the current debt look like on the property? It is a fair question to ask. Very fair. You're going to need that for your underwriting too. I mean, it all kind of goes back to the reason why they're selling. Like, we like to ask, why is the seller wanting to sell? That's a fair question to ask too. And sometimes brokers will be honest with you and tell you, oh, because they have a bridge loan that's coming up soon, that's coming due very soon, so they need to get out of it. Now, you can ask for the details of the bridge loan, and sure, you can, just for your notes or whatever to kind of know what's going on. But you definitely would not want to assume a bridge loan for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's
And I would even put this out there. No question is off limits, outside of being inappropriate. You know what I mean? But don't be afraid to ask anything. You are a potential buyer of this multi-million-dollar property. You should ask every single question that comes to your mind, and even multiple times ask the same question because you might get different answers. You should ask every single thing that you can think of.
cool. Tiffany says no broker is answering her. So annoying.
They're
Yep.
lazy.
I think Zach said it earlier in the chat. He said most brokers only close or sell 1 to 2 deals a year, and then most residential agents only do 4 deals a year. And he said, "Do with that information what you will."
This is
It's true.
Yeah, thanks, KJ. You're the bomb, girl.
Tiffany's amazing.
Andrea asked, do you ever text the brokers, KJ?
Yeah, me and my broker, we either call each other or text each other almost every day now.
I know. I'm about to tell him to stop calling my woman.
Hey, he's bringing me money.
I'm just kidding. I don't care.
No, but it's cool that it's gotten to that point now that we're doing so much business that we need to be in touch every day. So
yeah, we sat down earlier today and had a team meeting with him. He's part of the team now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Joel, how many brokers did you guys how many broker calls did you guys make, and how many of those were rock stars? So we've made over to date probably over 700. and only a handful of those are Rockstar brokers. One of them being in the chat, Zach McQueen. This is the one that you were talking about.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Zach's funny.
Let's see what else we got. Well, okay, so this one, Facebook user, what were the sites you used again for multifamilies? LoopNet and the other one? Crexi.com, CREXI.com, Crexi. Math tutor. Math tutor, if you really are a math tutor, you should be an underwriter. Have a seller who wants to do 1031 exchange and willing to do seller financing, but his accountant told him he cannot hold the note and do a 1031. Any way around this, he wants to defer capital gain.
I don't think so. I don't think there is. And I think somebody else was answering this question in the chat too.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know. I don't know the actual answer. Disclaimer, we're not CPAs, attorneys, anything like that. I don't think that you could do both. I think when you're doing a 1031 exchange, it has to be and it depends whether you're selling or buying like that, right? But in this, it sounds like selling. And if you're selling as a 1031 exchange, you're taking all of that cash and putting it into another asset.
Yo, Jams. Thank you, my guy.
We tell him that all the time.
That's Rico Suave, man. That's how I got the name.
He's just so smooth.
Thanks, bro. I'm starting to be like KJ, the words.
Bro, you should start doing some ASMR. You should start your own side channel and just doing some ASMR on
OnlyFans ASMR.
Oscar's voice.
Welcome to Oscar's channel.
Look, check this out. Olga says, I adore you, KJ. So humble and smart. Dang.
Oh.
Damn, where are all the Joseph fans at? Come on, guys.
They don't like you, babe.
Oh, wait. Okay, Joel's on your side. I realize Joseph is a young dude.
There we go.
He acts so mature. How did you get that maturity? Okay.
Bro, honestly, I don't know. You should have saw me when I was your age.
He's not young.
Damn. Throw me under the bus and back up over me.
No, I'm kidding. I guess you're in between.
Hey, if I'm not young, then you right behind me.
You're right. Never mind.
Joel, what is one piece of advice you can give to us young people? Man, if I can do what you're doing, Joel, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think you're like 19 or 20. Dude, man, you just keep doing this, stay in the right rooms, keep taking action, and learn from people who are doing this. Dude, you and the younger people in here, like KJ and Joseph, you guys will be on track to be millionaires before you're 30, man. Just stay in the right rooms like this, and your potential is limitless, man.
Dude, let me just say this: you could
in this chat who are wishing they're 19 right now.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I was like, look, you could go out there and screw up in every which way imaginable and completely start over, and you would still be ahead of most of us in here. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, man. Just get out there and take action. That's what you need to be doing. If you're not taking action every single day, then you're wasting time.
All right. And some of you who are super young, y'all don't have anything to lose. Like, y'all might not even be married, don't have no kids, maybe still living at home. You have nothing to lose. Just go take action.
Yeah, if you're still living at home, go take some risks. You literally got nothing to lose. Just get out there and just start going crazy with it, for real. Just be aggressive. Be aggressive with it. This is your future you're talking about.
Yep. Michael, is there a simple base formula to go off of for, let's say, 20 units versus 100 on Class B, all the same size units, etc.? to estimate how much management might be to care for. Yes, all that's covered in our multifamily underwriting Zooms, where you can find in our Facebook group. It's a multifamily $1 million upside group. In the featured tab, you'll find all of our recorded Zooms. We go over this in those Zooms in detail.
Yeah, and I would say 5 units is underwritten the same way as 500 units. It's all anything 5 or more is underwritten the same way. And since we're here, the second part of your question, your management fees, it's dependent on who your property management is. So you just need to go and interview different people. Usually it's anywhere from 3 to 10%.
Michael, as a general rule of thumb, should you typically discount all future returns at a rate that is no less than what is being achieved by other similar properties?
That's a good question. I'm a little confused by it. As a general, should you typically discount all future returns?
I don't necessarily know what you're asking, but for us, it's the way we underwrite deals, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Joseph, but when we're calculating what the returns are going to be is dependent on what we're looking for as far as returns ourselves and for our investors. So I think that's kind of the answer I would say. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but I don't typically go and comp a property that's like it and say whatever they're getting in returns, I should get the same. The only thing I would use that other property for would be if it's a comp, then I would see what the rents are for that particular comp. If it matches what mine is, then I would use those to compare for the rent and my pro forma, but not necessarily like my cash on cash or anything like that.
Well said.
Joseph and KJ, can you guys walk the Houston property with us on Thursday?
Yeah, I got you. Let me just confirm the calendar. But we should be able to.
For those of you who kept asking about LoopNet and what's the other one, that's it right there, Correxy. Joel, how do you guys compete in markets like Florida and Dallas, where Grant Cardone is big and big players compete? So great question, Joel. We don't typically buy in those markets where Grant Cardone is, but I did have a person jump on the Zoom and ask me that question. Like, what do you do when you're in a market like Miami where everybody's buying up everything like Grant Cardone? Like, I'm in Miami. How do I compete? Well, typically Grant Cardone isn't looking for 40 units or 50 units or 60 units. He's looking for, the higher end stuff. He's at that point where he's buying monster properties and luxury properties. If your market is that competitive, then why don't you partner up with someone in a different market that you can also be part of? So, like, for example, the Tennessee deal that we got, we partnered up with someone in Tennessee who's boots on the ground in order for us to get more exposure in different markets. So that's what we did. Dallas is a great market for us specifically. We still love Dallas, and there's opportunities still here, Joel, that we can take a look at, especially creative wise, right? We can definitely do something creative in those markets. And you just got to be able to partner up with people and expand your buy box, or partner up and have a team so you're not just stuck to one specific area. All right. What's the next question? And Larry says, I'm going to be bigger than Grant Cardone. Heck yeah. Do it, Larry. You guys are a literal multi-family team. Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate that. Guys, we have 10 more minutes, and then 5 more of those minutes will be answering questions. And then after that, I'll let KJ do any announcements that we may have. Yep. It's the story. Let's see. Yeah, Oscar ASMR channel. That's right. You're doing a great job, man. In OnlyFans. I got you, bro. You'll be my first one who subscribes. Jab says he is also a Joseph fan too.
Let's go.
Tiffany says we love you, Joseph.
Let's go.
Let's see. I'm not seeing many more questions, guys. I think we're going to be close to it here. Yep, that's it. Wait, I got one more. Olga, do you know if you get a multifamily for a sober living or something in that space, does the property still need to make sense for regular tenants for conservative underwriting? I think this kind of goes back to the question I had from someone else who had asked me or asked us about, do we take a look at like a conversion of hotels and motels to multifamily, and what are the pros and cons? So Olga, to answer your question, our team wouldn't be the best person to ask this particular question, because what we're focused on specifically, and I will say this to anybody in here, if you're going to be a multifamily, pick one thing in multifamily asset type or the type of asset that you're going to be running. For example, we only focused on your typical traditional multifamily assets. So meaning there's no Section 8 or government housing or any assisted living or government, whatever it may be. Or I'm sorry, student housing. But we focus just on your regular types of buy and holds, where you can increase the rent and it's not regulated in landlord-friendly states with a particular buy box. So for us, we know what we can raise the rent, and we don't want to be limited to something that we don't know or the rents are regulated. So for us, particularly when we underwrite a deal, it's always the same way. It's always for the long-term traditional tenants, and that's how we like doing our deals. So if we're gonna implement some sort of short-term rental like Airbnbs in our properties, which we can do, we still underwrite the deal as if it were a long-term tenant. That way we are conservative with our underwriting, but that's for our business model. So whatever it is, Olga, if you're going to be focusing in the sober living or assisted living or whatever it may be, then I would recommend you get good at that craft so you can be that person who people go to and they know exactly what they're doing. But if you're not going to get into that, don't get shiny object syndrome. Stick to something and focus to it.
That therapeutic voice.
Oscar, is the rest of the team coming to multifamily mimosas this week? I don't know, man. We'll see.
When is it?
Yeah, let us know. Reach out to us and let us know. We'd be more than happy to hop on. OnlyFans. I get enough fires in the chat. I may be doing an OnlyFans.
Man, I'm about to go figure out how to put some fires in the chat. I would be doing it right now if I could.
That's so funny. I would love to see that.
Okay, KJ, any announcements? Look
Just
at Zach.
what did he say?
He put a bunch of fires in the chat.
Let's go. Is that enough fires, Oscar?
Just that Tuesday or tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, Joseph's going live talking about property walkthroughs, the before and during. And then Friday, I know we're going to have a multifamily Zoom. I don't think we've planned that one yet. What do you guys want to hear this Friday for our private Zoom? Let us know in the chat. We want to bring you guys value. Yeah.
Let us know in the Facebook group.
And also, just in general, those the little lives, the YouTube shorts that we're doing, like the one tomorrow, let us know, guys, in the Facebook group. Anytime that you want to hear on a specific topic, we're always open to getting different ideas. You know what it is that you guys need help with, right? Because
I mean, we know all this stuff, right? We're here to help you guys. So the more that you let us know what help y'all need, the better that we'll be able to provide that kind of value for you guys.
Awesome.
I'm seeing lots of fires in the chat, Oscar. I think those are for you, dude.
Also, if we come to Dallas this weekend and we plan a little get together, who would come on Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Saturday.
Plants and seeds.
Saturday. $1 million
Evening.
upside meetup.
Who'd be down?
Let us know in the Facebook group. Might make a post on there too. But okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, if you have any questions, follow us on Instagram at Oscar Jimenez 10X and at KJ Mudd and at Joseph Mudd _.
Awesome.
Cool.
Love you
Thanks,
guys. Thank you
everyone.
for following and showing up every time. We love y'all.
See you guys.
Love you guys.